Welcome to this whatever it is that we're doing today. I already saw that Araya was here or is here. Um I just can't pull it up yet, but I also see that Ali is here. Hi. Wait, that looks weird. Oh, I know why. Okay. Sorry about that. Here we go. Um I had to figure out a different layout. We'll see that later, I think. Hi Leah, how are you? And yeah, hi Araya. As I said, I can't pull it up, but I can. If you say something again, I can pull it up then. Anyway, I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little bit nervous because I'm not entirely sure how this is going to go. Because we're not doing a usual live stream with like the general, like with the sprint and the chat and the sprint and the chat. You know, I wanted to do this thing where we kind of help each other brainstorm problems that we might have. Um, Also, I didn't even address this. Totally fine. Uh, if you like can't participate too much at first, but also yeah, we're not going to write right away. I thought we would like do brainstorm first and at the very end like do one sprint. So yeah, if you're here to like lock in, write your words, then maybe this is not what you're looking for. I think I don't know if they're still going, but the troublemakers were also live streaming. Um, yeah, yeah, right. Okay, so what is the idea? What are we doing? So during my last live stream that I did solo for the streamathon, the chaotic one that I had to do with my phone, I ended up like I was trying to figure out the story for this workshop, blah 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 blah, and you guys were like helping me come up with the story, and that is like part of the inspiration for this. And also I have been not workshopping, I've been brainstorming a lot about my current story, and there are a few things that I keep noodling around in my head, turning them over and over and over and over and over and over again. And it's so difficult for me to come to a solution because it all feels so convoluted. And yeah, so I thought maybe what I need is someone else's brain to weigh in and maybe give me maybe they can see things a little bit more clearly, maybe they have some ideas that I can't come up with, and that will spark something. And I thought, it would be nice if we kind of come together and do that with each other. So if you have in your current project, whether you are drafting or brainstorming as I am, outlining, if you're editing, if you have like any sort of problem, any sort of issue that you feel is like difficult, um oh, but I am live, right? Jesus. This is just this thing where like YouTube doesn't autoplay, right? Because I'm not sitting here for 15 minutes and talking to myself while I'm not live, right? Right, Leia? Right? um, yeah. Anyway, if I am live and you just clicked on it now, okay, good. I was just trying to explain what I want us to do. Hey, okay, awesome. Um, Let me know if that makes any sense, if you need any more clarification, and let me know if you have any sort of plot holes, problems, questions where you feel like it would be beneficial for you to have someone else brainstorm with you. And then, you can like write that in the chat. You can also write it in the Discord. And I have like over here, have an outline so I can, if you have any information, you can like put it in the chat, or you can DM me, or like put it in the Discord, and I can pull it up here if you have any sort of information that we need to know to like make it maybe a little bit easier. I don't know. As I said, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm a little bit unsure of how to do this, but I've seen like bits and pieces of this, like brainstorming together in different live streams, and I've also seen Lindsay Packett doing like a whole very long like brainstorming session. Excuse me, can you hear that? It's like someone like passing in front of my street. Um, yes, that's what I'm hoping. That's um and so yeah, anyway, so I just wanted to like do this kind of community thing. um okay, fantastic. That's awesome. Um okay, shall I just like start maybe with I have like one problem that is a little bit convoluted and one that is very convoluted. And we could start with my simpler one. And like I have the advantage that I also brought some like pictures to make it a little bit more easier, hopefully, to understand what I'm saying, because I also know I'm not good at explaining things in a very straightforward way. But like, yeah, this is not just for me and my problem, but we can start with mine, and then you guys can, um, yeah, give me your problems and we will workshop them together. Yeah, I hope that is all clear. Okay, so I'll start with mine. Um, as I posed here, this is the question. Um, oh, okay, awesome, Leah. You have a problem, I love that. We'll get to that second, if that's okay. Um, so I have this, I know, I have this mermaid project, which is very clear. You can see that right here. Um, and so one problem or question that I'm wondering, and like this is like world building, is how the mermaids are born. And I've been brainstorming that for a long time. And basically, what I want it to be is that. So, okay, let's see. How do I explain that? So, what I want it to be is that the mermaids have like generations that kind of like a lot of mermaids are born sort of at around the same time, and they form one generation, and the generations are like, oh hi, welcome Lottie. um yeah, we're going to do one sprint at the end. At the moment we're like brainstorming, chatting, talking. And if you have any sort of problems, maybe as you're editing, I don't know if you're words editing or like story editing, if you have any sort of thing, problem, issue, question that you would like someone else's insight or ideas, or like just like brainstorm juice for, um, we're going to do that here today, like brainstorming together. That's the idea. And yeah, there will be one sprint, but at the end. But yeah, so I wanted to be that like it is difficult for the mermaids to procreate. It's not like something that they can do whenever. and it's something that they have to do as a community. They have to, as a community, um, have this idea that they have to like sing like like do a ceremony sort of, where they have to sing a song of yearning to kind of bring this new generation in. And I want, like in this story, I want that one generation has been destroyed, um, kind of by the impact of humans roaming around on the oceans and like having their ships sunk, and like one like crashed into, basically like you can think of it like a litter in a way. Hi Mateo, welcome, welcome. So I want it to be like a devastating thing that one generation is like wiped out all at once, and they can't just, basically they can't just go out and make a new one right away. And I had like the thing, they also like they have a creation myth, about like a goddess sort of who like came from the deep, out of like a deep deep trench, and um now what lives there is like these sea monsters. They live in these, in, yeah, in these trenches, where legend has it is like where the goddess came from, and which is like where mermaids in general came from, is the myth. And so I kind of wanted to be something where they have to go to this trench and do something and like sing something or something, but it being like dangerous and something that they can't do whenever. And basically, yeah, that is like the thing that I'm trying to figure out here, which is where like, yeah, why, how, what. um Hi Rachel, Catherine with a very many E's. Hi, hi, hi. Um, so yeah, let me know if you have any ideas for that. I don't know. If this is like, maybe this is like a too hard question as well. I don't know. Um, yes, I'm trying to figure out what like the process, like, or rather, what could be the danger. Um, okay, okay. Yes, do give me the questions if you have any clarifying questions. So, because I know I'm not very good at making things clear when I speak. Um, Also, I feel like, Rachel, you're new here, I think. Usually I do like regular live streams for writing together. Today is like we're trying something different. Um, yeah, I wasn't sure if I should like drag it out. Catherine, I don't know. Um, okay, let me see. So you're trying to figure out how they're going to use the myth of the goddess to create a new generation. Um, that's interesting. That's not really what I mean. It's more like, or maybe, I don't know if I don't know if there's a direct link between how, I mean, it would make sense probably, if there was a direct link between how they actually make new generations and what their myth is, where mermaids in general come from. Like the myth is like the goddess kind of like broke out of the sea floor and like rose into the ocean, and basically from her body came like all of these offspring, um like kind of breaking her into pieces sort of. So I don't know if that, if there's like a link. I don't know. I was thinking that there would be something magical about the trench that but it has to be something that like doesn't occur all the time. I had the idea that maybe there's a trench that like periodically, only like so many years, like only like how do you like only every so many years like opens up, and they have to go in for some reason, but also the thing is like very unstable, and it will like collapse on them if they're not fast enough. But I don't know what could be the magical thing inside, or like if that makes sense that a trench would like open like that and close rather quickly. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I hope this is not like too difficult. Because also my second problem is even more convoluted and difficult. So I don't know. Like I want it to be like a communal thing. Um and like these mermaids are magical creatures. Yes. Yes. Exactly. They lost a generation and they need a new generation. And like generally, like for one, it's like a huge loss because so many mermaids and young mermaids, like basically babies, were lost. And yeah, I don't think that they can do that right away, maybe. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Do you have any ideas for me? That's all right. It's yeah, makes sense. Um, See you. Um, are you going to come back because you had also a question? Um, because I would also like to address your problem if we can. But also go enjoy a dinner. Yeah, like that's kind of what I'm thinking, like tectonic plates. And they need to move fast. Yeah. And like, yeah, maybe it's like this is kind of I was watching a lot of Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and like I realized that I had never watched the fifth one, and so that's what I did. And there's also this where like it's not the bottom of the ocean, but like the ocean kind of splits open, and that's kind of where the idea came from. But yeah, I imagine that like it breaks open, and for a moment it's like a clean cut, but then like all the debris and everything in the water like rushes in and kind of fills the gap probably. So maybe that is maybe enough explanation that it like has to be quick. Okay. So the problem is that babies were lost and they need mermaids, but I can't do it right away because it takes time, right? So the problem to solve is how do they do that? Yeah, I'm sorry that I'm so difficult to understand. Yes, that's what I mean. Um, like what can be a magical way of ooh. Okay, that is interesting. Like so I didn't have it such that the goddess is real, but I do think that it would make sense if it has to be through worship of some, like in some way. Like, I don't think that they can get it back, but maybe the pleading with the goddess somehow, which like would also maybe work with, like, maybe that is the song also. It's like not just a yearning for a new generation, but it's also a plea to their goddess. Maybe the goddess is like part of that, but like in a magical way. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I was thinking, like, what if one like crazy idea is like, what if because there's these sea monsters that live there, um, and I also had the idea that they can like kind of take like foundling fish eggs and through their magical song can like make them into mermaid eggs. Um, and so maybe it's maybe it's the eggs of the sea monster that they have to transform. I don't know. It sounds so crazy and weird. I don't know if that makes any sense. Ellie says, the beauty of fantasy is you can make it up. If parts of the goddess are oh, what made the original mermaids, perhaps there's still parts of her. Ellie, that is, no, that is genius. That is genius. Okay, this is what I was hoping for someone to give me a crumb of genius. Yes. Yes, I think you cracked it open. I think that's okay, so the goddess is real, and like, or whether she really is, whatever. But there's like magic inside, and that is what allows them to create these mermaid eggs, babies, whatever. I think that would make sense. Um, so she was saying like kind of mummified parts of the goddess that still has magic in them. That makes sense why there would be magic, like, but like they can't always access it. Um, cause it could also be because like I'm wondering how realistic it is that the tectonic plates like open and close on a schedule. Um, so maybe it also has to do with maybe with like the maybe it's the okay let me read what you said first. um but the parts of the goddess draw the sea monsters almost as a protective thing, which is beautiful. Each sea monster, be it legendary or mythical, can be part of that act 2 adventure. Ooh, yes, yes. Ooh, okay, okay, I was just okay, let me just like so what I was just thinking, like, what if like because the sea monster lives, or like the sea monsters live in those trenches. Like, what if it's not that the trench opens and closes? It's more that maybe it's like kind of a hibernating thing, and like they will, I don't know, they can draw close enough to get to the magic, whatever form that has, while it's hibernating or something, or like it's migrating for its own reproductive cycle or whatever. Um, and only then they can go near enough, and otherwise it's like too dangerous or something, something, something. I like this. Thank you guys. Thank you so much, Ellie. Um, ooh, okay. Okay, let me see. Araya said, maybe it got buried under the trash from the humans and they have to search through it to find her lost pieces. Ooh. Okay, I do like the idea that because that is part of the story, of like humans are, this is like in the past, right? Um, but there are like ships that sink, treasures that sink, humans that die and sink, and everything. And all of that is kind of poisonous to the mermaids. Um, and that's another convoluted story. So, but yeah, I do like the idea that And also because I have this idea that I don't know how long they've been doing that, but that they would, to protect their kingdom and their territory from this like human poison, that they would lure them, like this trench is not right within their territory, it's like further away, that they would lure the humans to the sea monster who is going to devour them in a way that like eradicates all poisonous debris or whatever. So, or maybe it like can't seep into the water or whatever. They lure them to the sea monster, so it would also it would also kind of be fun to like see all of the lost ships and the like, yeah, the skeletons of all the ships that like got sunk there because of the sea monster. Okay, let me see. Araya also says, and the sea monster is in that area, so they have to both defeat it and get through the trash to find the pieces. Yeah, something like that. I don't think they would defeat it, and I think it's like they kind of need the sea monster, as I said, also to help keep the humans at bay, maybe, and also I think it's kind of they're kind of worshipping the sea monster as well because it's called sort of, but maybe that changes now. But I thought it might be like an extension of the goddess in a way. So they wouldn't like want to hurt it, but they would have to navigate around it and then the trash. Yes, I like that. Okay. Um Matteo says, maybe they can't always access it, as I said, made me think that maybe there's a sea monster that migrates. Yes. Maybe even one that scares the goddess. Oh. Oh, that's interesting. Also, hi, Mikey. Welcome. I haven't seen you here before. Welcome, welcome. We're doing like a brainstorm session today, but we'll do sprint later on. But yeah, how are you? If you have any sort of problems, questions, whatever, like we have brainstormed, I feel like my first problem. So if any of you have a problem, a question, something that you want to like throw into the group, and maybe we will have some sort of genius idea that will help you out. Um, and like you can put that in the chat if you want, and we'll talk about that. Um, Let me just read that real quick. If your monsters are based on real sea animals, you can base their behavior on that. For instance, deep trench sea creatures like anglerfishes are so different from other fishes. Yes. Yes, they can be so weird and both scary and kind of magical as well. I feel like you can do a lot with deep sea creatures for sure. Yeah. I'll have to look at a bunch of things to get inspiration. But I think the core will probably be like the classical, the long tentacles and stuff. But yeah. Mm. Yes, very cool. Ah. Yeah. You gotta finish your memoir so you can do fantasy with the rest of us. Okay. So like Leia so far was the only one who was posing a problem, but I feel like it doesn't really make sense to do that while she isn't here. And I don't know if she's gonna come back. Do any of you have anything that is like coming up as you are editing or as you're writing your news stories or brainstorming even like anything where you would feel like you would need some input, because like as I said, I have another problem as well, but I don't want to make this all about me only. Do put it in the chat, and then just for a moment plug in my laptop so it doesn't run out of juice. Hang on. Let's see real quick. You did nothing? You're like all good, you have everything figured out. I mean, good for you. What about your new project? I mean, I don't know, maybe at some stages you also don't want input from the outside, I could imagine. Yeah. I'll give you a few more minutes to like figure out if you have any problem. I know it's like difficult. I find it difficult when someone is like, hey, like, I don't know, tell me a story, or like, hey, what is the last the your favorite book or whatever, like an open question like that, to like come up with something. I know for me it's really difficult because suddenly I can't think of anything. And maybe you guys are like happy-go-lucky in your projects and don't need anything. That's okay. Wow. It just uh soaked my thingy. I don't know what it's called, but just straight up soaked in my tea. Oh, hi. Hi, Nirvan. Nirvan. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Oh, interesting. Is YouTube doing a thing? Why with this live stream specifically? Like usually I do general live streams for like writing and or productivity and or editing and or whatever. It's just that today we're doing something different, so I'm a little bit confused that today of all days YouTube is like apparently showing this video to other people. But yeah, welcome in. I'm Tanya, and today we're like trying out a new format or whatever of like, if you're, I don't know if like those people who are new to me, I'm assuming that you're also writers. I feel like the other times were more like manually people somehow having come across my channel and like sharing it in some sort of community or a list or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Are you guys also writing stories in like, it can be fan fiction, novel, whatever? And if so, do you have a current project? Do you have a new project, an old project, and you have some sort of um yeah, sort of some sort of problem that you're like noodling around in your head and it's difficult for you to figure it out, some sort of thing with the oh yeah, it is interesting. Huh. YouTube is a wild place sometimes. um yeah, anything that, like, my thing was about my world building, could be a plot hole, could be I'm stuck in this scene and I don't know what to do with it, some sort of problem of that kind, and we will try and find some nugget of an idea that helps you out. Ali and Araya and Matteo were helping me with my problem, and I feel like I have a solution now, I think. I'll have to think also about like what the magic is that is coming from the goddess and like how that together with the song like creates mermaids, but that is, it doesn't sound like just a trivia detail, but I can figure that out because that's just magic. That's like you can do whatever with magic. um the big problem was this, like, why is it dangerous, why can't it be whatever, and that we solved together, which is awesome. Ooh, okay, Mateo is coming through. Ooh, for us. Love it. Okay, I've been kind of struggling to figure out an antagonist for the sequel to Project Monarch Medallion. Ooh. Okay, well, just 1 second, and I might have some questions. Um, I don't know, is it Nirvan? Um, it sounds weird when I say that, so I'm maybe not saying it right. I had plans for writing, but I just procrastinated a lot. Don't we all? Um, Maybe this will inspire you a little bit. Possibly, I hope. Yeah. I mean, this is getting into spoiler territory, probably, but. Oh, Don Juras, who dies, though. Okay, okay, so okay, let's see. So we have a sequel. In which way does the sequel, like, connect to the first book? Because I feel like that would give us information of on like how, like, where we should look maybe to the antagonist, just out of the blue without any more information. I would like think, like, oh, let's see, before I ramble on, what does Ali say? Can you give us a backstory of the previous antagonist? Exactly. Like I would imagine they either they're like thematically maybe linked, and I don't know. They maybe they have like a similar or the same ideology, or maybe it's like a piggyback pig what sort of thing, or maybe Don Judas was like, maybe he knew he would die. I don't know if that's true, but like maybe he like intentionally passed on the mantle for whatever bigger project he had brewing, but like couldn't go through because of dying. Or um I don't know, it's someone who's like closer to what's your main character called again? I don't remember. But like maybe they're like even closer to home. Um yeah. Like give us a smidge more of information. Otherwise I will just like blah 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 into the blue, and maybe that will help. But to get like a little bit more to be a bit more helpful, maybe give us a little bit more information. Ah, right. What is the main character? Um, and he was like looking for his brother in the US, right? Who's like, I don't remember if he disappeared or like what was disappeared or whatever. Maybe it's some, again, without knowing, maybe it's someone who was involved with the brother. And so like maybe finding the brother is somehow like opening the, what is it called, like Pandora's box or something. um Maybe I don't know. Also, maybe like related to the plot of the sequel question, maybe like what is the development that the main character goes through in the book one? Like, what has he learned, in which way has he grown, and like because that might give us some information on like what would challenge him, maybe. Don Judas is a brujo. He uses dark magic. He sold his soul, etc. All right. And book one revolves around Don Judas having control over his brother. Okay. Okay. And then he dies. Does, I don't know. I'm like thinking, but that's maybe a little bit cheap, but maybe the dark magic kind of gets like, what's it called? Like unleashed and like creates some sort of, but that is more like a monster type thing that I'm thinking. Unleashes something. That is because Hoel's dad sold a family heirloom, the monarch medallion, but his brother tried to steal it back. Ooh. It was either that or the brother dies. Hoel's dad sold the heirloom and the brother tried to steal it back. The deal with the control of Don Judas is what I'm thinking. The control. I was thinking more like mind control, but I guess more like a deal. Okay. And now he's like free, I suppose. And then who has died? I don't know. People in the chat, do we have any ideas where we like take this in terms of an antagonist? But like as I understand it, Don Judas was like working alone, right? That was like his thing. Okay, a deal. I don't know, like classically, you would have like exactly. That's what I'm thinking. Classically, you have like he's a bad guy, but really he's the small fish in the pond, and like maybe he was like the lesser evil, but now whoever was like above him, um, now he's going to get involved himself, or she, they, whatever, and they're like so much worse. Okay, seemingly he was working alone. Exact. That's like the classic way to go. You go bigger, you go bigger and you go better. Okay, you don't know. Hmm. Mm. And what was he trying to achieve? I know we're like we're like making you spoil everything, but like what was Don Judas trying to achieve with? Oh, maybe there was a catch regarding the deal. Um, like a Faustian bargain gone much worse. Hmm. Hmm. How does the Faustian bargain go? We read that in school, but I don't remember. It's something with like the dough, I think. Mm. Okay. Okay. There's a little bit of a bite, of a nibble. Hmm. Like who did it go wrong for then? For Don Judas? Is that what I'm hearing? Or like for the brother? I'm not entirely like it sounds very really really cool. I'm not entirely sure what you mean exactly, but also like as long as Mateo is happy and understanding and like his cogs are turning. Um hmm, interesting. I don't know. Have we ever like what kinds of antagonist do you like also, Mateo? Like yes. Maybe something bad happens because Hoyle broke the deal. Right. Because like yeah, the deal and like the deal was kind of beyond even Don Judas himself. And so when it's broken, like something bad happens. Hmm. Yes. I think it's going into a good direction. Hmm. Hmm. Exactly. Yes. Right. Because it's like it could be a magical deal, or like the thing that sealed the deal was magic, and maybe it's not allowed that such a magical deal is broken. It like I don't know. Maybe it like goes against the rules of magic, and thus I don't know. Something bad happens. Which like something bad happens is not necessarily an antagonist, but it could be girl. Ellie is like having all of the brainwaves. I love it. Drawing into those stories and folklore can really help you get a better antagonist, right? Because you have all of these figures and creatures as well. Hmm, it could be something, because witchcraft always at the end um have something to take. Oh, okay. Book two feels more character focused, so I don't know if it even needs an antagonist. I don't know either. It could also turn into a whole and he himself or he and a team or whatever go against a big like issue, a problem. Like this sort of like the idea of like man against world. Is that what it's called? Like man against nature or something? Not necessarily man against man. There's also there's always a perceived antagonist in every story of a character, even in our personal lives. It's probably true. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it could also be that, like, there's now, like, a dangerous evil force or whatever. It could almost be, like, supernatural, magical, something, 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 and it could be, like, Paul could come up against it in the form of some sort of figure person that kind of personifies it. But like it doesn't necessarily have to be like a bad person with I don't know. But it could be. You tell us, Matteo. Uh, hmm. But that is a really interesting question and problem, how to bring one story into the next book, and like what to continue, where to go from there. Like, how did you know where you want to go with this story? It's really interesting. I don't know. I've done this like in an inorganic, inorganic, disorganic way before, like backwards, when with my other project in like one of its old durations. I was like, um true, true. um I was like, this is the general story, but I have four protagonists, and thus I must have four books, and thus this is a series, and thus I'm going to sort of try to both break down the story that I have into pieces and also kind of expand on it. Like it didn't make any sort of sense. It was very inorganic. Yeah, just to say, don't do it that way. But I'm sure you do not. Okay, so the magic system is based on alebrijes. They break more as they're used. Right, I love that detail, by the way. Hoy's grandmother made him these alebrijes. At the end of book one, they break. Damn. Okay. And Ellie says perhaps there's more to the alebrijes. That would also be a classical way of like expanding on a conflict, expanding on a world, which like you can very easily do with something that is magical, fantastical, because you can always invent like new layers that were under the surface. But um I swear, just as I was hearing myself, sorry, total tangent, but as I was hearing myself saying magical, fantastical, and then under the surface, I'm like so thinking of Encanto. Totally besides the point. What was I saying? I don't totally derailed myself. Um, Probably nothing important. Let's just assume. Araya says, like in my story, uh, Araya was saying before that antagonists don't have to be a bad guy. Like in my story, it is my dad. He's gruff and hard on me, but he's still my dad, and has his good moments. Surely. Ali says to that, agreed. It's the perception, but there's always an opposing force to the protagonist that makes the story riveting. I think that's probably true, yeah. But like it can vary in a lot of interesting ways, I think. Mateo says his grandmother taught him how to make these alebrijes. Part of the struggle in book two is the grandmother passes away, and Hole doesn't know what alebrije to make. Oh. So now there's still supernatural threats, but he doesn't have the magic that he used to. Um, yeah, we knew what you meant. We knew what you meant. Um, oh, Ellie, you're like cooking in your brain today. Uh, Perhaps the alebrijes were just tools, and the magic actually comes from elsewhere. Comes elsewhere. Um, Magic or powers or what have yous. Hmm. They're like the channel for the magic. That's interesting. It's okay. Go do what you gotta do. we will try to have ideas like you did. Um, oh, okay. Rhea says, so you could have a family member, a friend, a group, or just a force that drives the plot forward. So maybe it has to do with the Alebrije as the force. Okay, okay, love it. That is kind of the idea. Matteo says, I tease a different magic system in book 2. Okay. I feel like it would also make sense if the, like, as I understand it, a lot of the folkloric figures are also like dangers. I don't know if there are also some of them collaborative helping forces, but like if they're more so the dangers, I could also see like that side of the story like stepping up and becoming more dangerous in some way to like have the like balance of power, I think. Um, well, maybe they, I don't know, these figures from folklore, maybe they somehow can like tap into the same magic that the Alebrijes can, and thus become like dangerous, like more dangerous, more powerful. I don't know if that makes sense. Um, yeah, it's like Mateo always says like it's a middle grade slash YA, so I think it's like sort of at the cusp, as I understand it. Hmm. Let us know, Mateo. Like, does any of this help you? Um, do you feel like you're getting closer? Ooh, 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 ooh. Mateo says that family members mention gave me an idea. Please imagine the emoji with the big eyes. The ooh. I'm so curious. Hmm. Cliffhanger, everyone. Mateo's having an idea, probably like noting it all down. Ooh. Ah, okay. Maybe the deal wasn't broken. Say what? And now Don Judas still has some control. Ooh, that is really that is really cool, like from beyond the grave. Mm, that is really cool. I like that idea. So in that sense, maybe you don't have a new antagonist as such. It's kind of a different form of the same, or like maybe even the brother sort of becomes, I don't know if you want to go that way, but maybe he becomes a sort of an antagonistic force, which like makes it even harder and like emotionally more difficult and charged to like navigate. How do we defeat but also save him? I don't know if that's what you're saying, Mateo, like, but yes, very interesting stuff. Hmm. Hmm. I don't know. Do we have any more ideas that we can throw at you? Like, you gotta let us know when you're like, when you're good. Yes. I was sort of thinking like exactly whatever that looks like. Maybe the brother is like a vessel. Yeah. Oh, my heart hurts for your protagonist. Yeah, that could be really cool though. Mm-hmm. Hmm. I wish I had you like up here so I could like see, but like you could more easily let us know how you feel about your ideas. As you should. As you should. It is a weird concept that we have to be mean to them, but that's like how they get to show how awesome they are and they grow. Yes! Alright, you are saying exactly what I want to hear. um, like we could brainstorm it together. That could be fun. um, yeah. Okay. Matteo, do you need more input and or does anyone else have any more problems and or questions? Araya, should we brainstorm a new project with you? Awesome. Okay, like I'm not trying to cut you short. If you need more, we can give you more. Um, that's the thing. I don't even know if we have someone else. Um, maybe next time I'll have to like give some more notice so people can prepare and have their problems, questions, whatever. Well, like brainstorm a new project as well. I feel like most people will try and avoid brainstorming a new project because a lot of us are like, oh, I'm good. I have like too many projects. Um, but if someone wanted to do that, that would be so fun. Like together, we'll do that next time, definitely. Yeah. No, that's yeah. That makes so much sense. Yeah. Drizzy Riz, we're trying to brainstorm some things. Yay! Our biggest brain is back. um, I'm lagging. Oh no. Oh no, that sucks. Okay, let me see if I can close some things. Huh. Don't love that. I do have a lot of tabs open, I will say. Um, okay. Maybe you have to refresh or something. Yeah, right now, like, any problem or question that you have, like, in your, I don't know if you're like drafting, brainstorming, plotting, editing a story, or whatever. Um, exactly. Whatever question you feel like it would be beneficial to have someone else brainstorm with you, because like sometimes with some things we like get stuck and we can't figure it out. And then if someone else like weighs in a little bit or like asks the right question that can help you figure out the problem that you have and like come to the solution, So we've done one of mine, which was a world building question, which is like you can see here, the with the pictures and stuff, and then we've done one with Matteo about who his antagonist should be in book 2 to his book where he has like just finished book 1. So yeah, if you have anything in that vein, even if you're like writing a scene currently and you're like, I don't know what I'm doing with that scene, and or like I know my character has to figure out, like has to learn this information, and my way of him learning that information is like so on the nose, uninteresting, stupid. Like it can be something small as well. Um, yeah. Does anyone have anything? Because as I said, I do have one more thing, which I'm a little bit nervous if I can even explain that in a way that makes sense. But as I said, I want to give you guys the opportunity to come in with your things. Um, so I'm gonna give you maybe a few more minutes. In the meantime, like also those who are new and whether or not like if you're still here, what kinds of projects are you like working on? Um, oh, okay. Drizzy Riz says, what 3 items would you take to survive on an inhabited island? Did you mean to say inhabited or uninhabited? I'm not sure. To maximize your long-term success. Is that like, do you have a story that plays on an island where like someone is like is stranded? Um, I would have to know, like, is this contemporary? Is this the real world? Are we like, is this like, can we have magic, basically? Are there any monsters? Is this horror? Like, I feel like it would be helpful to know what kind of world we're in, inhabited by who, though? You're on an island, and who's stranded? Okay. Uh, oh no. Okay, so I feel like the also depending probably on the conditions of the island. But if we're like thinking sort of tropical, um, okay, I feel like I'm maybe overthinking. um, a normal world, no monsters, no nothing, basic survival. Okay, yeah, I was thinking also like the key thing is water, I think, because like we're in an ocean and like either you have to sort of like filter the water or whatever you have to do to make ocean water drinkable, or like something to collect rainwater. Definitely. Ali also says a knife, a reflective one would be awesome to start a fire. Ooh, genius. It's like 2 things in one. And also as protection as well. It means to fish and gut fish as well as to make sure. Listen, yes, to shelter, good clothing for weather. Yeah, no, that's so smart. Like you need a tool, a basic tool to also make new tools. Like with that knife, you can like make spears or I don't know, craft whatever else tools you need, maybe like something to eat from. Um, yeah, making fire. Right, like you need shelter, water, fire to cook and or warm yourself. Listen, this Ellie, I feel like your brain is so much more on than mine. Um, yeah, that is, yeah. I don't know if it would like if we're like thinking plain, like a reflection from a knife would probably totally be lost. But a ship, maybe, I don't know, maybe you could like, could build something with like shells to, I don't know, magnify the light, but like definitely signaling for help is a smart move. Uh, I couldn't tell that you were watching something like that. Um, yeah, yeah, definitely. Water, food, shelter, fire. I mean, yeah. What would you do with the lightsaber? Like, drop trees, signal for help. What would you do with the lightsaber is my question. Like, I'm also not entirely sure what they can do because I am not too familiar with the franchise. I'm sorry, but um, mostly it's like a weapon, right? Um, I watched Castaway when it was released in theaters. Girl, what? You must have been a baby then, right? Because I feel like that was like ages ago from like what the movie looks like. I'm not sure. Um, ooh. Oh, that is so interesting. It says, I had asked this question before when I used to lead therapy to a group and asked them what they needed. Look at that. There's so much you could do with a lightsaber. That's not an answer, Mateo. It was a want versus needs topic while also seeing if they can agree as a group. That is so smart. Yeah, you can fight monsters. Yeah. Well, like, I guess you could also hunt maybe with it. Wait, what does that even mean? Struck a North Sentinel. I don't know what that means. I'll have to Google that. But you have me so confused. I don't know when it was released, but is that possible? What is the time math here? Okay, let me Google real quick. Okay, Mateo comes through with the lightsaber knowledge. You can cut trees, hunt, make fire, signal for help. Oh, I had no idea. I did not know that at all. It's a blade of pure plasma? That's crazy. Okay. Wow. I'm sorry that I'm like outing myself. I think I watched the first movie and like don't shoot me, but I think I watched the prequels first because I can't believe that I'm saying that on the internet, but I had like a crush on Christian something something who was like playing the main character. Um, he's not even very good in the movie, so yeah. Um, very much. I can't think of the word right now, but very much like not good moviegoer behavior on my part. Okay, let me. North Sentinel. What does that mean? Um, near where it belongs to India and the Indian Ocean. Okay, interesting. Okay. Um, has there been a sci-fi slash fantasy castaway like book? Uh, I feel like in sci-fi, it would make a lot of sense to have them like stranded on some sort of planet somewhere. Like I feel like there are a lot of stories where you have like some crew like stranded, not necessarily on an island, but like on their ship, floating in space, maybe. But also, I'm not like the biggest sci-fi reader, so I am just speculating. Rhea says a weapon, water filter, and change of clothes. Alright, Rhea comes like prepared. But honestly, the change of clothes, I feel like that speaks to me because like the idea of having to walk around in my dirtiest clothes and not have a way to like have a change, like wash one and wear a different outfit would be horrifying for me. So, um, me, I'm not. I'm from Germany, which is what the accent is from. But it like Mateo is from the US, right? And I think Ali as well. And Rhea too. No? Are you all from the US? Am I confused? Is someone of you, like one of you, from Canada? No, right? No, I don't think so. Um, I know it's really bad. I know. I also don't know too much about Lord of the Rings. So I have like these big gaps with like the foundational text slash movies from our like the genres that I read. Um so yeah. Okay, good. Good. I wasn't like totally confused. I swear, like at some point we're going to get to a point where I like know your time zone, but I don't know what country you're from. Which would be crazy. Um yeah, sure. It definitely has good sides. Um, 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 Matthias says, glad I'm not the only one who hasn't seen Lord of the Rings. I swear I've tried. And like, I used to have this really big problem where I would like fall asleep in movies. And like, these movies are long, so I feel like I've like tried watching it maybe like twice or more times, and then I would like fall asleep. So I don't think I've never ever watched like till the end of the first movie even. Oh, you did? Oh, okay. This is like a Yeah, good for you, basically. Um, I have this friend who would, she was also like very much into like fantasy and stuff before I ever was. Um, and she would do these movie nights. That's basically where I would like watch the first halves. Um, where like us and like some other girls who would come over, and the idea was that we would watch all three movies in one go, which like is a lot. Is a lot. So um but yeah. Did you also do that in that way? Okay, I feel like now we're just like chit chatting, which is also fine. But um if you have any more problems, questions, hypotheticals, we put it in the chat. Otherwise, I think we will at some point also move into our like one sprint that I wanted to do, because I didn't want to do a just only talking stream either. Um, I don't know if that's weird. Again, this is like the first time that I'm doing this sort of format, so I'm probably going to think on it and change some things for the next time, which like, I don't know. I was thinking maybe I would do this maybe like once a month or something like that. We'll see. We'll see. This is just like a trial run. Anyway, so Jersey Riz says, I am from India, but I live in the United, what is it called? Like Arabic Emirates, right? Correct me if I am wrong. I don't know. I'm not super like patriotic, and I don't know if I can like say blanket like this is a great country. I don't know. So yeah. Sorry. I was a little bit awkward there. Um Shut up. Ellie. Wow. Wow. Um Also watched The Lord of the Rings when it was released in movie theaters. Um yeah, okay, sorry. I hope I didn't like offend you. Um Girl, what? Aren't you like 2 years older than me or something? I'm like so confused. Arab. That makes more sense, yeah. United Arab Emirates. I hope that's how you pronounce that. I do, but I don't know if we have if we should go into that, because like as I said, it might be like a little bit convoluted and like a lot. So maybe I'll like save that. Also, like, why do some pictures not show up sometimes in Canva? It's really weird. Um, I don't know. You let me know. Like, do we want to do more brainstorming, or do we want to do a sprint? Um, okay. Totally fine. Thank you so much for playing with us and like being my guinea pig in a way. I hope we helped you. Yeah. Have a good day. Day, right? And now I'm like totally confused. Anyway, bye, Matteo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, that is hard to believe. Really? Okay, but that, even that, and like, I have a very weird, warped idea of time in my head. So, but I feel like, I don't know. I had the idea that these movies came out way before I was born. That probably does not make any sense. My bad. um Ellie says, I think you can do your question once you've decided what you're going to do, aka decide on the answer. Ah, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I can ask it, and then you can like, or I can also put it in the Discord. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, totally fine. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. It really was nice talking to you. Um. uh, that is true. That is true. Um. Okay. I let me see if I can like formulate the question, and if you have any sort of ideas, I will run with them, and otherwise, maybe I'll revisit the question next time, being a little bit more informed both on the question and the answer to my first question, and like just have everything a little bit more clear. Hope that's okay. Although, like, do I need to reload Canva because rude, rude. Um, I don't know if I want to do that. Should I? Should I? Okay, let me see. Let me see. Oh, are you leaving, Araya, or are you saying bye to the others? Um, because if everyone is gonna head out, then I'm just gonna do a strength by myself, writing. I think. Um, okay, you guys are so sweet. Okay, let me see. So the okay, cool. Okay, so the it's all about mermaids, of course. Because the pirates are like that's more like historical. So, um, okay, let me see. Where do I begin? What do I say? So basically, as I said, there's like the thank you guys, love ya. Um, so there's the idea of the generations, right? And the idea is that the generations, like once one generation kind of comes of age, basically, they will like go out and seek new, like a new place to settle down and make their own mermaid kingdom. Basically, that's like the idea. Like they will go out and find their own place in the world. Um, and I had it such that um, like I'm not like unsure of the order of things and if all of that makes sense together, but these are like the elements that I have, and maybe we can put them into a picture or something. One thing that I had is that the young generation that is going to go out is they have to contribute to the kingdom in which they are queendom because really there are no male mermaids. Um, they have to contribute to the queendom that they were brought up in. Um, and they do that by like I have this idea that the mermaids basically like lost their history, and it's like in a way their history and everything is like always sort of linked to humans. And in this case, it's like you know how humans have stories about mermaids, and like have had and sirens and like similar creatures like all over the world and like all throughout history basically. Um, and so like the mermaids are trying to and I don't know what place this whole like history searching is going to have in the story, but let me just tell you what I have. So they lost their history and they're like going up to the surface, sort of pretending that they're human and like mingling with them and collecting basically human stories and songs and everything, um, in order to like piecemeal what their own story, their own history is, and they can like um, they can collect their stories and songs within seashells, and so they like each kingdom sort of, or each queendom sort of has like a treasure trove of seashells filled with stories, and I imagine they also have like historians and stuff who are like trying to solve the puzzle and like learn about their history. And so that is like something that the young generation goes out to do, to contribute, to go to the surface, to find new stories, to bring them back and contribute in that way to um yeah, to like the society that they come from, sort of as like a last, I don't know, a last, what do you call that, um last contribution, whatever. um and I also, so I kind of wanted to have a training and a competition sort of element to the story. And at the same time, I'm like, um, I kind of envision the mermaids sort of being between, like they're very nurturing, very loving. Like it's a lot about community and um like within themselves they're very very human in that way, and like very, yeah, caring and everything. um and community is very important, and I kind of want, like I don't want it to be like a tyrannical society. um and so they sort of like they have, I was thinking about like the political structure. Have I said that this is very convoluted? Because um this is me trying to be concise. um they um I have like a thought about how they make decisions on what, or I guess that's like the other idea. The other part of the idea is like um what, like the generation has to contribute in some way. And blah blah blah. They oh girl, yeah, that's the thing. It's like I feel like I have so many ideas and so much already clear in my head, and also some very key gaps still. So, um, okay, let me try to bring things into order in my head real quick before I like run my mouth and be confusing. Um, okay, so they have, for one, they have this problem with the humans that are like infecting and like poisoning the waters. Um, and they're, as a community, as a society, are going to come up with a strategy of what to do. No, don't say that, Ali. Oh, I have it like very, very vague still, I think. Oh, is this turning into Tanya is crashing out live because she realizes that her story still is like very unflashed out and needs a lot more work to make any sense and move forward? Because I feel like that's what's happening. I don't know. Why I have like a bunch of ideas, but it's very unclear yet where I should go. Oh, is it important to have a main plot? I've never heard that. Never in my life have I heard that. Yeah. No, it will be. It will be connected. Okay. Let me try. Okay? As little as I have. Um, yes, they are endangered because of the humans. And so far, like the solution that they have come to, like sort of the idea is like they have this mermaid court and people come and bring ideas of strategies of what they can do, and they sort of like decide collectively what to do. And what has been decided on is this strategy of like luring the um okay, enjoy your lunch, thanks for hanging out so far, we'll see if I'm still here. And they decided on this strategy of like luring the people that come too close to their queendom to the sea monsters for them to devour them. And eventually that's supposed to like scare off the humans. And the the strategy that they chose collectively. But also we have this like group of mermaids who unsanctioned just went out and decided like that's not enough. What we need to do is like, because like humans are more and more traversing our waters, they're like sinking their ships and treasures and like human cargo and like dumping all of that into our oceans, and that is like poisonous for us. So far they don't particularly care about humans, but like it's poisonous to them. um, and there's this group that like thought this is not enough. What we need to do is, because they sort of understand vaguely human politics and everything, what we need to do is go infiltrate like the human court, in this case the Spanish court, and like manipulate things so that they will stop going and like doing this whole colonizing the American continent, which is really why they're constantly there and constantly like carrying goods and people and everything across the ocean. And they did that unsanctioned, and they got into trouble, basically caught by humans, or like stranded, sort of like most of them, but one of them got kidnapped. Um, and so now, and like this information has reached the court, and now it's like they kind of have to, I don't know, they kind of have to fight out if they will stick with what they've decided so far, and like what they should do about that. And eventually what I want like to the main plot to be is that I think that is what they're going to do. Like they're going to sail after the mermaid who's like kind of kidnapped somewhere in the Spanish court. And I don't know what the humans are going to do with her. Um, but they're going to enact that plan kind of against their will. Um, and that's like going, or like they are probably going to dispatch like a small group of mermaids, including our main human character as well, because like she's supposed to kind of be like an informant for them and sort of a go-between, I think, because um, not all mermaids are equally trained in like the human ways and how to navigate that. And like those who are going out, they're more like warrior mermaids who don't really know how society in the human world works, and they're more like versed in like the fighting and the hunting and all of those things. So they're like glad to have a human being who supposedly is going to help them navigate that. But Marta, our protagonist, is not from this time and like doesn't really know. Anyway, so this, I think that is where the main plot is going to go, if that makes anything any more sense, Ali. um it's such a jumble in my head and I feel very vulnerable, I will say. Like saying all of this out loud because I feel like all I'm saying is question marks. Just a whole bunch of question marks. So um but like I don't I don't know if I will have a competition and like where it comes in. I would like to have one. Um thank you. You're so sweet. You're so sweet. Um so yeah, I hope so. It's just like if there's too many question marks and barely any like substance, then it's hard to grasp anything, like grasp onto anything. Um so yeah, I was like thinking, is the competition about um so like my question, I guess my problem is, I don't know, where does the competition fit in? Maybe it's like the most concrete question that I can pose. Um, the other thing maybe comes from there, which is like more like the order of things and like what is our main objective and everything. That's maybe like a too big a question, but um, like the competition, my ideas so far were um, maybe they have a competition um, to like find those who are um is she very important? Yeah, something like that. I was thinking like I don't know. Like so far, so is she important? Because the competition can be to see who's competent enough to save that kidnapped mermaid. Yeah, I was like thinking like could be like a fast tracked high pressure, both like training and competition thing because they don't have a lot of time to prepare and to get up to speed and everything. Um, mm, I don't know. So far, it was more like just one rogue mermaid, and like she is very important to one of the other mermaids because she is like her twin, and they're very connected. And so she's very important to that specific mermaid. Um, but other than that, I was thinking like maybe she's more like shunned by like the elders and the broader society, and it's just a small group who is trying to rescue her, but then it doesn't make sense with the competition because that is more like an institutional thing. Um, yeah. Why is she important? I mean, I think for one, it's like maybe not her specifically, but it's kind of like a ticking time bomb thing because um the mermaids have never revealed themselves to humans before. Um like they will only ever interact with humans in a human form and pretending that they're humans, and like they do not want to reveal themselves to humans because that would also pose dangers. But now like the idea is also like the mermaid was kidnapped in her human form, but she can't hold it forever, so she will revert back to her mermaid form eventually, which would be this huge reveal that is dangerous. So I don't know. That's like what I was thinking so far. Okay. Yep. That's why I was asking. That kidnapped mermaid has to be uh important, I guess, if there's going to be a competition. Yeah, exactly. But like, yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, it's not that she herself is like a mermaid of great import in the society. She's just like one young rebellious pup who like decided she's going to go out with some of her friends because she doesn't like the decision that the society at large has come to, and she's like, that's not enough, we need to do more, and that's like what she did. But now she's posing this like danger to the whole queendom is, I think, the idea. um but I'm not sure where like combat and everything comes in, because yes, they will need combat skills, especially like on land, which is not really what they're trained for. They're more like trained for combat in water. Like, just for safety reasons, they do need to know that if they're going to go into the human court and everything. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's like a test of commitment and will and um, bravery. I don't know. Yeah, yeah. It's like if the secrecy is revealed, then they will be all endangered, and they are already endangered. Yeah, and also like mermaids everywhere would be endangered, and then like who knows what the humans would do with that information. Um, I should think also on that, like what concretely the danger would be. Um, like how much worse it would be than it already is. Um, yeah, I feel like that's true. More of a political intrigue kind of book. This is Games of Trials. I'm not entirely sure if that is what I want to write. Oh my god. um, crashing out, crashing out. um, is there some sort of importance to the mermaids? Like, for instance, I think this is from a movie. Their blood perhaps is an elixir, and humans would hunt them. You know, that's interesting because in this, it's kind of the reverse. Like, human blood is poisonous to mermaids, which also makes it very difficult. Like, especially specifically in their mermaid form, it's poisonous to them. Um, um, like human blood is poisonous to them, which like makes it difficult to fight them because like you don't necessarily want to cut them and get their blood on you because that's gonna poison you. Um, yeah, I don't know. Jesus. Okay, now I'm like, what even is my story? What even is the shape of my story? Maybe that is. Oh, but maybe that is the question that I have to ask myself first. And like I had an answer, or like a vague answer. I had a vague answer. Um, and like I had different elements as well that I haven't even explained because I was just trying to follow the logical steps of what I was explaining, and that is like what a plot is. It's like a logical continuation and not a jumble of ideas. So I'm not mad at that, but I'm just not sure that that is where I want to go. I feel like there are so many like directions that I could take a book like this. Like it could be an adventure, it could be a political intrigue. If I found a way. Like this is like also this is the competition idea came simply from the because I like this idea of the story was born from this prompt of like most self-indulgent story idea, and I just simply wrote down like a bunch of things, elements, basically like tropes. Um Oh, Ellie, you're so freaking sweet. Honestly, yeah, maybe like a call would help. Yeah. Ah, jeez. Oh, anyway, yeah, maybe I will ask for a call soon. I do think that I need to like think about this, maybe journal or whatever. I never journal. I don't know why I said that. Um, on that, and then like do a call with someone, with you, sweet Ellie. Um, I feel like you've already helped me a lot though. Um, yeah. Okay, now the big question is, do you want to do sprints? Um, I think it's just you and I. I can't see if there are any other people present. uh, aw, yeah. Okay. I will ask you. Um, okay, I hope this is like interesting to you. Um, um, okay, so we're not writing, I don't think. I don't think I don't think I can sit down and like write anything right now. It's like too jumbled in my head right now. I mean, I could write down the question of what I want the story to be for sure. Hmm. Okay. I'm unsure. I am unsure what to do. And as I said, this is like a trial run of this brainstorming session thing. Um, so it wouldn't be completely out of bounds to like forfeit the sprint and sort of end early with no conclusion to my second question at all. Um, Especially if it's just you and I at the moment. I don't know. 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 Hmm. I feel like I do this all of the time. Like also with the other project. Like at some point it got so convoluted and like so many sort of disparate elements that I'm like trying to put together. And the more I try to develop the idea, like kind of instead of more um like streamlined or whatever, it gets more confusing for me. And I feel like I'm not doing it right. Yeah. Hmm. Oh, Allie. If I could, I would like do a bunch of heart emojis right now. Just so sweet. What's something I enjoy about the story? What's your favorite part of it? Or why do you want to tell your story? Now that is a good question. which would probably also help with like finding the direction that I want to go in. Okay, let me think. Let me think. So like it from the beginning, to me it was more of an adventure story. And that's kind of what I was excited about. The like because like the main character is falling out of time and she's like finding herself completely like a fish out of water. Um but like the reverse, whatever. Um and like I don't know, having to navigate strange dreams and a strange land of like mermaids, which is like surprising and dangerous. And I think I did, I don't know, I think I did want um also like I was watching all of these um Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I don't know, this is like more of the vibe that I wanted to, but also at the same time I wanted to explore this whole like the question of history and what does it take to change history for the better, and what sacrifices are we prepared to make, especially like in the case of Marta, because like she might never see her time or her family again. Like what sacrifices are we prepared to make to change history for the better, which I guess would go well with the political intrigue to be sure. Yeah, I should. This is like turning into writing therapy. Maybe that's something that you should do, Ellie. Like writing therapy with Ellie or B Brooks. B Brooks, sorry. Um, damn. I will write that down. Yeah, but they're a good question. But maybe yeah, maybe I have to, because I feel like that is the core, the emotional, the thematic core is that the changing of the history, and that can be adventurous for sure, but it is also very political, I think. Um, Maybe I'm like shying away from it because doing political intrigue in a time travel novel means a lot of research. And why am I so afraid of research, which like could also be very interesting? I'm not sure. I don't know. Or maybe I'm like doubting if I can make political intrigue interesting. Which like it is so interesting when I read a political intrigue book, for sure. I don't know. I'm not sure like which is like what the balance is there, or like what the role of these different sides of it are. Hmm. Anyway, the sacrifices, I think, is what you're saying here. For your protagonist, it might be her family, and that is high stakes. It is high stakes. It's like high stakes for the mermaids. It's high stakes for the people because we're like in a time where a lot of terrible things are happening, but at the same time, we also like through Marta, through the protagonists, we kind of have the perspective of like I'm tearing up. I think this is like a good sign because Um, that is like the core, I think. Through her, we also have the knowledge of like how what was birthed sort of in the political landscape back then, how that developed, and um, morphed and grew and everything into the present, and like all the scars that it leaves and the open wounds as well. So yeah, yeah, for sure. But it is also interesting. I think I think my issue is maybe not so much. Well, maybe it is. I was about to say like maybe the issue isn't so much the research itself. I think like the daunting part about the research itself is more like the details of how how to portray life back then in a realistic way, not so much like all of the interesting things that you can learn about history and how it like how things developed and who played a role and all of that. Um I think I'm like worried that it's going to take a lot of time away from actually writing, and then I'm not gonna get to it. Hmm, I'll have to think about this. Thank you for your vote of confidence. I mean, lots of people write books like that, so it's not impossible. Um, maybe I have to because like again, the kernel of the story was like self-indulgent, or indulgent, I guess. I don't know if you can use those interchangeably, but maybe I have to make it or frame it such that the research is self-indulgent for me because it is interesting to learn, and maybe I learn to understand some things about the past and the present as well as I research. Um yeah, yeah, that's true too. That's true too. The details and everything that comes later. That's true. Gotta remember that. Okay. I feel calmer now. Thank you, Ellie. I feel calmer now and like I know where to take it from here, I think. Like what I need to think about. So yeah. I feel okay wrapping it up here, I think. And I will come back with like a more concrete question at some point, maybe. Um, or maybe I'll just make it about everyone else's problems and questions next time. We'll see. I'm not promising anything, as always. I'm not promising anything. Um, yeah, yeah, I will. Thank you so much. I also feel like my other project, I also need to reconnect, figure out what the why there is, because that is also an issue, but like one thing at a time. Um, but yeah, I will reach out to you. Thank you so much for offering. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and yeah, helping with like great ideas and great questions. What are you gonna do today for the rest of the day? Uh, it's like it's lunchtime for you right now, right? Um, I'm assuming, or like one of the meals. There are more than 3 meals in a day. Am I right? I swear, I was so hungry today. I was, I think I ate like 2 lunches and 2 dinners or something like that. Um, um, that makes a lot of sense. Honestly, like eating cooking is like it's a constant thing. I'm constantly doing one or the other. And playing in the rain sounds so nice. I kind of love the rain, I will say. Yeah, I kind of have this fascination. Oh my God. They are spoiled like 5 times. Homemade meals. That is nice. Like, yeah. I mean, as I've said a lot of times, I think I basically also eat like homemade food 3 times a day. And then in between, if I'm hungry, it's more like a bite here or there from a meal that was a proper meal at some point, like something like that, or like something improvised or whatever. Um, you are an angel today. I love you so much. Um, highly recommend after this convo to spend some time outside, sip some cocoa, chill out, remember your whys for writing. I feel like that's what I need. I feel like that is what I need. Yeah, yeah, for sure. It is 10 p.m. now, so I'm not sure I'm going to go outside, but I can like open the window and um, just like stare out um, into the dark. Yeah, right back at you. Um, so yeah. Okay. Yeah, thanks again. Maybe I'll eat something again. I don't know. It's also like when I'm fatigued and tired, I get more hungry, and like my fatigue from last week is catching up to me, so it makes sense to me that I'm like hungry all the time. Yeah, anyway, enjoy your food, enjoy cooking, and then the food that you cooked and everything, and have a lovely evening later today. Thanks for hanging out with me, and yeah, bye bye. See you in the Discord. Bye.